Hi folks, as I prepare to do my next set of videos, I wanted to do this one first. That's somewhat mysterious. What I mean by that is this is going to feel a little bit like a regurgitation of the Capricorn new moon video I did a few days ago. Tomorrow is the first quarter of the moon, which means, as you know, a lunar cycle is 28 days. We have a new moon every 28 days. And so you have a new moon, 7 days after that you have a quarter moon, 7 days after that you have a full moon, 7 days after that you have another quarter moon, and 7 days after that you're back to the new moon. So new to quarter to full to quarter to new every 7 days. As I look towards 2024, in some ways is a neat year insofar as, apart from Mercury, which is going to go retrograde every 3 months or so, the personal planets, and here we're talking about Venus and Mars, don't really go retrograde until Mars goes retrograde at the very end of the year. And specifically, Mars is going to go retrograde. And some of you already know this, I'm sure. But Mars goes retrograde December the 6th. So Mars will enter its shadow period sometime in November, I would expect. And it goes actually maybe even a little bit earlier. And it goes retrograde in December. This is nice because for a significant chunk of the year, the only retrogrades that we really do need to concern ourselves with is a Mercury retrograde. The next Mercury retrograde does not happen till April 1st. Let me make sure I'm not wrong about that. I don't think I am, but let's just check. Yeah, April 1st. That means that till about March the 25th or so, it really is all systems go. And it is especially all systems go, given what I said in my new moon in Capricorn video a few days ago. The new moon in Capricorn especially, and the transits that we've had in Capricorn and we're going to continue to have in Capricorn, even though the Sun and Pluto are going to march arm in arm into Aquarius on January the 20th, a few days from now, the other personal planets don't quite make their way there for a little bit. So specifically, the Sun and Pluto will go into Aquarius on January 20th, 21st, depending on where you are. And the next planet to go in will be Mercury on February the 5th. And Mars doesn't go into Aquarius till February 13th. And Venus doesn't go into Aquarius till February the 16th, practically 3 days before the Sun moves into Pisces. Okay, all those dates are what they are. More importantly, what I want to convey is that while the planets go through Capricorn and Aquarius, they will continue to make important transits to Chiron and the North Node in Aries. That is true for the transits that are going through Capricorn. And whether the transits are through Capricorn or through Aquarius, there will be important transits made to Jupiter and Uranus and Taurus. As those of you who've been following my channel know, the planetary transits in Aries and Taurus are the ones that are expansive and that are pulling us forward and that promise expansion, and a sense of excitement and forward movement and purpose and calling. That's where the growth is, okay? The sign of Pisces is where we've been having some sort of a crisis since 2014, 15, 16. People who follow my channel just like, again, he's going to say this again. I am, because I don't know who's watching this. And with Saturn's entry into Pisces since March of 2023, we have this blessing and this ability, although it is going to require a certain amount of hard work and application, till the end of 2025 or beginning of 2026 to finally manage the affairs in the Pisces part of the chart in such a way that they create less stress and less of an energy leak. And that's putting it mildly. Now, in order to do that, we are going to be jolted by Saturn to actually make it a goal and make it a priority to address matters and issues related to where Pisces sits in our chart. I say this especially because the further we move into 2024, the more focus is going to come into the Pisces part of the chart. Now, some of this focus is just going to be the annual focus that we're going to have when the Sun, Mercury, and Venus and later on Mars move into Pisces. And specifically, The Sun moves into Pisces on February 19th. Mercury will move in there February 23rd. We'll have a new moon there March the 10th. Venus will move in there March the 11th. Mars will move in there March the 22nd. Until April the 30th or so, we will certainly have a certain amount of focus on the Pisces part of the chart. So whether we like it or not, by the time we get to the end of February into March and April, not only will we be hosting Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, which are going to be like, put your attention here, so that the expansiveness in the Aries and the Taurus part of the chart is not compromised. And we host Jupiter in Taurus till May. And in the second half of this year, we host an eclipse in Pisces. We already start the transition in the second half of the year with regard to the eclipses on the Aries-Libra axis to the Pisces-Virgo axis. I know, I hear you cry already. We just feel like April 19th, 2023 is when we had the first of these Aries-Libra eclipses. And interestingly, we start the eclipses on the Pisces Virgo axis. When is that eclipse, by the way? Let me just tell you. September 17th, full moon lunar eclipse in Pisces at 26 degrees, September 17th, which means that July 17th, the week before and after, is going to play an important role related to that eclipse as well. September 17th, before and after. And of course, we'll continue to host eclipses both on the Libra Aries axis and on the Pisces Virgo axis for the first 3 quarters of 2025 as well, after which the Aries Libra axis will sort of go bye-bye. So for the first half of 2025, we still have eclipses on the Aries Libra axis. But the bottom line is, whatever we're going to be required to take care of on the Pisces part of the chart with increasing intensity starting the end of February is really meant to help us sort out crises that we've been dealing with, as I said, since 2014, 15, 16, with 16 really being sort of a peak year. And it's a welcome set of energies. And if we align with these energies in a Saturnian way, if we commit to solving the issues related to the Pisces part of the chart, there's no reason as an astrologer for me to believe that we won't be supported. We will be supported. If we don't commit, and if we don't start to take matters related to the Pisces part of the chart seriously with Saturn's presence there, issues related to that part of the chart can threaten to thwart our expansiveness in the Taurus and the Aries part of the chart. So if you know your birth chart, think about where Taurus sits and what sort of expansiveness is occurring there. Think about where Aries sits and what sort of expansiveness is sitting there. Now, specifically, if you want me to give you a rundown of the energies, Uranus as Taurus is making you more authentic and more you in the Taurus part of the chart. Jupiter in Taurus till May of this year is ending a 12-13-year cycle, starting a 12-13-year cycle. And if you're already on the right path in that part of the chart, it is trying to elevate you to the next level. If you're not, it may try to create a break from a path that is not right for you so you can get on the right path. With Jupiter, it's a new beginning. In the Aries part of the chart, we've got Chiron trying to heal issues related to the Aries part of the chart that go back to childhood. I'm keeping this very brief. But we've also got the North Node there that is saying, put your energy into the Aries part of the chart. That is where the expansiveness and the growth is there. And that is where the soul continues to learn and grow. Do it in a grounded manner. Because the North Node has a tendency to put the callingness, make it so, evaluate with the North Node always what your requirements are for your security, for your sense of safety, financial, because with the North Node, the sense of the calling can be so pronounced and so undeniable that it can just it feels irrational. It is irrational insofar as rationality is kind of a 3D thing. So, but that's where the expansiveness is undeniable too, though. It's undeniable. That's where the growth is. So You know, as you pursue any sort of adventurous path, you've got to determine just how much you're going to put on the line and how you're going to pursue those adventures. Okay. So that's where the expansiveness is. And I've given you the specific nature of the expansiveness in those two parts of the chart. Where does Aries sit in your chart? What house does it occupy? What does that house stand for? Similarly with Taurus. The Pisces part of the chart, what house is occupied by Pisces? What does that house stand for? What is the nature of the crisis there? What is the nature of fogginess, delusional thinking on your part, or someone trying to delude you, or things not being clear, talking about irrational people not engaging with you in a clear or rational manner in that part of the chart, theft, deceit, murkiness, whether it is in your mind, whether it is loss, a kind of releasing of a hold, the need to implement boundaries in that part of the chart. And so as we head to the latter part of February, but especially March and April, and then especially the second half of the year, we are going to be asked to, I mean, by the time we get to the second half of the year and into 2025, the North Node will have moved into Pisces. So we'll have Saturn, Neptune, and the North Node in Pisces, with the eclipses occurring there into 2026. I mean, you can't, then the Pisces part of the chart is going to become extraordinarily important as the nice thing is that it offers the chance or the potential to handle what has been burning since 2014, 15, 16 in that part of the chart. Now, if you are following something related to the Pisces part of the chart, something creative, or if you are following something deeply spiritual and renunciatory, then with Neptune's presence there, it may not feel quite so much as a crisis. It might be really inspired. And, you know, if based on the way Pisces sits in the chart, you've grown tremendously as an artist, or you have given everything up and become a monk or a nun or a meditation practitioner or something along those lines, or a Sufi mystic, then bully for you. But for the rest of us, it's you know, Saturn there, North, we're getting ready to move in that direction. While we still have the personal planets in Capricorn right now, and while we still have this new moon energy in Capricorn right now, I can't urge you enough to really get moving and get back. 12 minutes later, I'm talking about the actual message of this video. Get back on the horse. As I said, the new year really began with the new moon in January 11th. And for the first week, till we have the first quarter, it can be harder to get going. We get going, but there are fits and starts. We're not quite we don't quite have the energy as much. We're entering very soon a week before the full moon in Leo. That is the week before the full moon. And so now we are likely to find our energy, but we're also likely to find ourselves starting to get stretched thin. The week before the full moon, especially as you head towards the full moon, takes on greater energy, which is great, greater intensity, which can also be great, but it also has a tendency to put a lot more on our plate. And by the time we get to the full moon, there's an element of chaos, meltdown, exhaustion, not only the energy to execute, but everything just sort of becomes energized. Now, the best time to execute, as I've mentioned to you numerous times, is the week after the full moon, when the energies really become balanced. And you might find every month, experiment with this, you might find that your productivity is at a peak the week after the full moon. But I don't think you should be waiting till then. Here's the deal. Till about March 25th, it's all systems go. We have planets direct to go-go right now. While the planets are in Capricorn still, they're going to trine Jupiter. Mercury is getting ready to trine Jupiter for the third time, I think, on the 19th of January. Then Venus will trine Jupiter. And the planets are getting ready to trine Uranus. Now, the Sun has already trined Uranus just before the new moon on January the 11th. the Capricorn new moon and the transits through Capricorn provide a harmony with Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus that I don't want you to lose advantage of or sight of. So if you are motivated and if there are goals that you would like to get back on, and the heavy energy related to the Mercury retrograde, the heaviness that we may have been experiencing since Thanksgiving that may have peaked just around that week of Christmas and New Year's, will continue to be with us till about the 20th of January. But it is passing away. On the 19th, Venus squares Neptune in Sagittarius, and that is something we really do need to watch for. But there's a lot, if you wait too long and don't take advantage of these energies, it's so interesting. The new moon in Aquarius, which is the next new moon on February the 9th, when the planets move into Aquarius, they square Jupiter and Uranus. There's greater urgency with a square. It's almost like planets in Aquarius need to act in order to unlock Jupiter and Uranus. And that's fine. It'll be great to have that mounting urgency, but you've got to build up to that urgency. And there's a certain amount of groundwork you've got to lay while these planets are in Capricorn. And there's actual harmony. There's strength, there's support. The personal planets as they transit through Capricorn are looking at those planets in Taurus. They are squaring Chiron in the North Node in Aries. It's a very expansive set of transits. And what I really want to say is for the next 2 weeks, just go for it. Just go for it. Do you need to, till the 19th, 20th, even maybe the 23rd, pay a little bit of attention? Will you be distracted by some of the shenanigans that you have been dealing with at the end of December, especially, and that have been lingering? Yes. But leave that in its place and look ahead to what it is that you need to do. And I've already told you, if you know your chart, look to what it is that you're trying to achieve in the Taurus and the Aries part of the chart and see what it is what actions you can take to support that. Because this is the time. When we look at the new moon in Capricorn a few days ago, and when we look at the full moon in Leo, a little over a week from now, on the 25th of January, the transits around those lunations are really supportive. By the time we look at that full moon, you're going to have Mercury and Mars conjunct together in Capricorn, trining Uranus, squaring the North Node. You're going to have Venus trining Jupiter. So this is and the new moon in Capricorn occurred just after the Sun trined Uranus. The new moon in Aquarius occurs just after the Sun squares Uranus. Both these new moons, January, February till March the 25th, I'm telling you, as you head into the last days of February into March and April, the focus will get pulled into the Pisces part of the chart. So, and then for the rest of the year, what you're trying to do in January and February is set yourself up expansively for the rest of the year so that the Aries and the Taurus part of your chart are satisfied and are on track. Because by the time you get past February 20th into March and April, 2024 will begin even more in earnest with its core themes. And you will be pulled into expansion, but you're also going to, with great intensity, be pulled into managing issues and matters related to the Pisces part of the chart so that you can be free of them by the time you head into 2026, 2027, 2028. Let's just keep it simple by the time you head into the beginning of 2026. So the energies are so supportive and so clean and so clear right now, especially over the next couple of weeks as you head towards that full moon in Leo. Take advantage of them. And then the week after the full moon, even going into February, even into that new moon in Aquarius, but the squares from Aquarius to the Taurus transiting planets, Jupiter and Uranus, will only be able to experience the urgency in a constructive way if you take advantage of the energies of the next couple of weeks. Now, the next couple of videos that I'm going to do, we're going to talk about the upcoming Libra eclipse. We're going to talk about Venus squaring Neptune. We're going to talk about Sun and Pluto moving into Aquarius. So it distracts a little bit from what I think is the most critical message right now. So I didn't want to start doing those videos and distract you into those. I really want, and take a look at my new moon in Capricorn video by all means. What's so interesting is that we have the new moon in Capricorn, we have the full moon in Leo, which is not technically related to the new moon in Capricorn. The full moon in Leo is related to the new moon in Aquarius. But both the new moon in Capricorn and the full moon in Leo are illuminating as lunations these harmonious and these energized transits to the North Node in Chiron and Jupiter and Uranus. By the time you get to the new moon in Aquarius, which is related to that full moon in, something comes to some sort of a culmination, something comes to some sort of a highlight with the full moon in Leo that then the new moon in Aquarius can build on and move forward on. But the new moon in Aquarius as well is still very much in conversation with Uranus in Taurus. And at that time, I think Venus is trining Uranus. Shall I confirm that for you, dears? Let me take a look. Will you bear with me for a second as I try to get a handle on this? Oh dear, where did I write this down? Yeah, I'm not wrong. By the time we get to the Virgo full moon at the end of February, issues related to the Pisces part of the chart are going to act up. Yeah. Where are the full moons occurring? Thanks for bearing. I've been railing at you for so long. That I have no doubt you can handle a break in the intensity that I'm offering you. Full moon in Virgo, 5 degrees. That full moon is going to be opposite Saturn on February the 24th. All systems go till about March 24th, 25th. But you're really setting the tone towards the most expansive and exciting and adventurous parts of 2024 in January and February, and especially now. So if the first week after the full moon has had its energetic ups and downs with regard to getting back on track and getting on the horse, which it kind of does, the moon is still small and it's only growing. It's the quarter moon tomorrow. You have a sense of balance. Get back on it. And as you head towards the February 5th full moon, yeah, things are going to get crazier and crazier as you get to the February the 5th, likely. A lot depends on where these lunations are in your chart. A lot depends with these lunations on what they're aspecting in your chart as well. This is a general reading, which is the energy of the times. If a full moon or a new moon is conjuncting Saturn as opposed to conjuncting Jupiter in your natal chart, for example, or opposing Saturn, it's going to have a very different feeling and a different message. But that I'm going to leave to your individual charts. Even the new moon in February, on February the 9th, which will take you as a lunar cycle to March the 10th, the new moon in Pisces, expansive, expansive, expansive. But the expansiveness of that February new moon depends on what you're doing now. The transits around the new moon in Capricorn a few days ago and the full moon in Leo coming up are just so, they are so totally in conversation with the expansive parts of the chart, whether it is a harmonious trine to the planets in Taurus or whether they are squares, where the action is needed in the part of this, of the Capricorn part of the chart, so that the North Node and Chiron can do their work in the Aries part of the chart. So to keep it short now, to keep it simple, get back on the horse. What is it that you want to achieve? If you know your chart, what is it that you're trying to create in the, and are feeling called upon to create in the Taurus and Aries parts of the chart? What actions have you been trying to take? What has been bubbling away for the past week, even in a certain sense, that you've been able to make some progress on, but maybe not, the moon has still been growing, but now you can pour yourself into over the next 2 weeks at least. Then, by the time we get to the Aquarius new moon, and the sun will have squared Uranus by that point in time before that new moon, then you can really, by the time you get to the February 9th new moon, put in your energies into the Aquarius part of the chart to continue that conversation, with the understanding that by the time you head into March and April, some of your energy is going to have to be devoted to actively managing the Pisces part of the chart for a significant portion of this, the remaining portion of this year and next year. But a lot depends on what you do in January and February of this year. So this is my pep talk. See if you can take advantage of setting things in motion that are important to you and goals that are important to you. You will have more energy. Things might get crazier around January the 25th. But then the week after that should, but I don't want you to wait till the week after the full moon. I want you to take action now, because there's some transits coming up. Now, there's some transits coming up as we head to the full moon and the week after that are really helpful. I don't want you to lose out on them. Okay? If you found this video useful, feel free to share it. Talk to your friends about it. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click on the wiggly bell icon on top of the subscribe button so that you can be notified whenever I do new videos. Comment, like, they give the video more greater circulation. Thank you to everyone who supports my channel and views these videos, and I will be back soon.